Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. Joining me, of course, is our wonderful, esteemed panel. Let's bring them out. DIANN, FLOYD, BOEHM, welcome.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. It's great to see you.
Great to see you. Great to be on the bus with you, for sure. And let's welcome Helena Chard. Hello.
Hi, hello. Lovely to see you both, Dr. JACALYN, DIANN.
You're looking
Greetings
beautiful
from
as always.
London.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. And also with us today, Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner. Hello.
Good afternoon or good morning to you. I work in so many time zones now, so I feel like a time traveler. So it's wonderful to see you.
It is wonderful to see all of you. You know, the show we just had before this one, Global Adventures, our guest was joining us from Australia at 2 a.m. Now that is a real commitment to education.
That's
Education.
Helen and I know what that feels like. During the royal, first of all, the royal ceremonies, then the funeral. You know, we were working with Australia as well, and it is their favourite time of the day. For them is about 2 a.m. In fact, to a point where when I used to work with them, and this is outside as well. This is not in some warm studio. So 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're walking through a park in London, and I started to feel like Count Dracula at that time. I had bloodshot eyes, you know, and we were all dressed in black, obviously because of the funeral as well. And so sometimes I used to take them their sandwiches at night, the presenters, they were so thankful. They were starving by 2 o'clock in the morning, you know. So God bless. God bless Australia as well.
Yes, for sure. When the mission is that important that we don't even realize what the time is, we just know that we have a purpose and we're just going to carry it out.
Absolutely. So it's been a great week. So I know Helena's got some great stories as well today.
Oh, there's always lots going on. There's lots of twinkly things, and obviously we're gearing up to the coronation, which is great. I think I was just studying. There's a lovely new emblem that's been designed for King Charles III, and obviously it's going to be a historic event, which is only months away, May the 6th. And this beautiful emblem, which we'll show shortly, was created by Sir Joni Ive. Now, I don't know if anybody knows of him, but funny enough, he actually is, or was, should I say, the chief design officer for Apple. But this was from 1997 to 2019. So he's designed this lovely emblem, which it's very much, he works with his, I suppose, company called Loveform, and it reflects the King's love of the great outdoors, nature, the natural world, and there's the 4 nations of the UK in it as well. So we've got 4 flowers, the English rose, the Scottish thistle, the Welsh daffodil, and also the Northern Irish shamrock. And they've all been designed to create Sir Edward's crown in this lovely red, white and blue emblem, which obviously is our Union Jack colours. And it gives a feel of happy optimism, hope, and obviously it's new beginnings as well for King Charles. So it's and the new reign, goodness me. So it really is quite a momentous, historic, well, it will be, time. And I think the run up to it, everyone's just getting ready and working really hard to make sure that everything goes well. And again, twinkly things. I know last week we spoke about crowns, but also Queen Camilla, she'll be wearing Queen Mary's crown. Now, the coronation, Queen Mary and George V, I think it is, or was, in 1911. I got that right, coronation then. So the idea is that Queen Camilla will be re-wearing the crown, and this is a new thing because normally it would be designed especially and made, and obviously that's an expense. So this is all now down to sustainability and efficiency, which is really, really good. And this crown has been removed from the Tower of London at the moment. It's having loads of work done to it, so lots of modification going on. And the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which is actually in the cross bit of the crown, it will be removed, we're pleased to say. And it's going to be replaced, really, this is in tribute to the late Queen Elizabeth, with 3 of her diamonds. They're the Cullinan diamonds, 3, 4 and 5, and she would normally have worn them on her brooches. So it's lovely that they're going to be in the crown. So that's another sort of little interesting bit of history that I love. And interesting about, I know we spoke about the Koh-i-Noor diamond last week, but so many countries have come forward to claim this diamond, which I find quite unusual. So we're all very excited.
We do have a beautiful picture that you shared. Let's take a look.
Oh,
it's lovely, isn't it? Can you see the 4 flowers in there? You've got the Scottish thistle, the daffodil, shamrock. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? I love emblems. Yeah, in the red, white, and blue, and obviously the crown, which has been designed. I think it's a lot. There's a lot going on, but there's this sort of simplicity to it. So it's quite clever the way that you can create something pretty like that. I'd like my own emblem. Who's got their own emblem?
Let's get her own emblem for sure.
Yeah, I think we should.
You don't have your own emblem.
Oh,
What else?
now we don't want any lies, Mr. Turner. You don't have your emblem before you start racing into it.
I could have. I just might not have told you about it.
Oh, you will have told everyone, believe me.
I love it. Yeah, it's quite attractive.
It is, isn't it? I just, I think it's quite, I would love to have it. Your new logo, Dr. JACALYN. Actually, when I was thinking about it, because you've got all the different countries and everything, there was something that reminded me of, having this. It's pretty. You've got all the different flags, international.
Yeah, you just need to have
there's definitely a synergy.
You can definitely have your own logo for sure.
why not?
What would you put in it, Helena?
Oh gosh, what would I put in it? That's something to think about. That's
a camera.
I love to create of course, a camera.
And a heart, because you're so full of love.
Big heart. Oh, thank you.
And a microphone.
I don't know. It makes me think about it now. I don't know. I'd like to have a think about it. We must do it. We all have to have one. I suppose an emblem is slightly different to a logo, isn't it? So it's almost like there'd have to obviously be something royal in it.
What have you started? What have you started? That's all I'm going to hear from now on.
I want an emblem.
No, you just have to. It's a matter of just designing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But amazing having the chief design officer of Apple.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sure, that's impressive.
Yeah. So lots been going on. I mean, also I think something that made me laugh, and this wasn't right this second, but King Charles III, and he made a fashion faux pas. Well, it's not really a fashion faux pas, but if you know King Charles, he's fastidious and immaculate with his outfits, his clothes, his suits, everything is perfect. And he was at a mosque in East London, and he took off his shoes as he went into the prayer area, and there was a great big hole in his sock on his right foot, which was really visible. And obviously with the, you've got the not paps, but you've got the media there taking photographs, and they all zoomed in on this hole, and he's absolutely, can't believe that this could have happened, which is very unusual because he is incredibly immaculate. And actually, the mosque in East London, I think it's in fact on Brick Lane. And it's an amazing place where we have lots and lots of curry houses, really fabulous. If you like Indian food, really good food. And I think he went along as well, and he was speaking to people there, and was offered a chicken shawarma. I think that might be something a little bit like a kebabi or something on those things. It doesn't sound so great. Anyway, he politely refused, declined, and asked for something of the vegetable nature. And they made him a aubergine smoked baba ganoush, which is lovely. You like baba ganoush? We're back to the food again, aren't we?
I love baba ganoush. I absolutely love it.
11 minutes in, we're on the food. I love it.
I have to say, oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I have to say, it's the bane of men and having holes in their socks, because you can start off, I swear to goodness, you could start off in the morning and you have a perfectly pair of socks, no holes, they fit well, they're comfortable, and then you may have to sort of take them off sometime during the day, and it's just like magic that this hole seems to appear in your socks. So I can totally sympathize with King Charles, because I bet he didn't start the day off with a hole in his sock, and these things just magically apply.
Maybe sometimes you can get a little rock or stone in your shoe, and maybe that could, I don't know. It seems like they'd have to be there. The hole would have to be there when you put the shoe on, but I don't know.
My daddy used to say the same thing. I think a little thread comes loose, or you needed to clip your toenail.
Yes, I was going to say that about the toenails.
It was actually, it was a little bit higher up on the foot, so it definitely wasn't the toenails.
Oh.
Yeah, so I wonder if it was a loose thread or something. I don't know.
I remember a suitor came to meet my parents, and he crossed his legs and he had two big holes in his shoe. My dad's like, no, I don't think so.
Oh, goodness gracious.
My goodness.
So could you explain something to me? I had just heard before the show, for us people overseas, what I think they called the person the PM in Scotland, or first, anyway, who just stepped down. Does anyone?
It's I'm just going to say, it's a shame that Simon's not on today. In fact, I wonder whether he's running to Edinburgh as we speak.
That's what I was thinking.
I see him in full kilt, cable in his hand, rushing to sort of trying to defend Nicola Sturgeon, who is the leader of the Socialist National Party, SNP, in Scotland, and she's the First Minister of Scotland as well. And she has just suddenly decided that she's had enough. And she's following the example of the Prime Minister of New Zealand by saying that she doesn't think she's got the energy anymore to put into a continuous situation. She will still remain as an MP in the Scottish Parliament, but she wants to give up her role as leader. And she just said that she just hasn't got enough energy anymore. And so it's quite an interesting day, for me, because this was suddenly announced at 11 o'clock this morning. And then, of course, all the attention sort of turned to her. On why she has done this, what's the cause of it. And although she explained that she doesn't have the energy anymore, people are wondering whether it's other things, who knows, these days. But I thought she was a very good leader. She was always, in there fighting you know, for Scotland and for independence in Scotland as well, because in reality, Scotland never voted for Brexit, but they were dragged into Brexit by the, you know, by the government, the Westminster government, which they've never wanted, and they've fought ever since to change away from United Kingdom, become a synonymous, autonomous country in their own right, without any interference from Westminster, and rejoin the European Union as well. So it's quite a big story today in Scotland and obviously in Great Britain as well. And obviously, by the sound of it, it's travelled overseas already.
Yeah, it was headline news.
Yeah, I saw it too.
And the next Holyrood election, I think, is 2026.
Oh,
so it's quite a while, if I'm right there.
Yeah, they're talking about. I mean, the reality at the moment is that they've been refused by the Westminster government to have a second referendum over whether they can leave the United Kingdom. And so they were going to use the next general election. I think it's 2024, actually. You could be right, Helena. Yeah, normally it's just I've got 2024 in my head. And they're trying to use the next general election, which in UK is in 2024, or 2025. It goes up to January 2025. But they're trying to use that by just their manifesto is just one commitment to leave the United Kingdom. And they're hoping that although they're not being allowed to have a referendum by the Westminster government, that if they put this one question and they get a large percentage of vote, it's a de facto statement to sort of say, you know, the Scots really want to leave United Kingdom and rejoin the EU.
I think as well, I mean, I think there was a worry that there's no clear strategy, and that's creating it's not a very harmonious situation.
Is this an opportunity for Simon to fill in?
Yeah, we need someone to fill in. But could that create a snowball of the rest of the countries that belong to the whole UK?
Well, there's always been a feeling that Wales might have wanted to follow suit with Scotland as well. These countries were dragged into it. Northern Ireland, the same. You know, they were dragged into this thing. It was really England that created the massive vote, the 17.6 million vote. That was the decisive vote to really sort of come out of the EU. But it was such a close split because it was 16.9 million who said they wanted to remain. So it was only out of, what's that, 33 million in vote. There was only something like about 700,000 difference between staying and leaving. And so, you know, and a lot of the polls recently are now saying that a lot of the people who voted for Brexit now wish they'd never done that, and they feel like they were actually told versions of the truth, let's put it that way, to actually give them, you know, to persuade them to actually leave the EU. And now, you know, our economy at the moment is not that good because of it, and so you know, that's why I think a lot of the time the more Britain can actually talk to the world, the better. And certainly the biggest thing that needs to be done is to sort out the Northern Ireland Agreement, because then your President Biden will then give us a trade deal with America, which is what we desperately need.
Mm. Mm. You know, Brexit, we've lost basically something like 29 billion in investments, and everyone is just outraged, really, when you think about how much money that is. It's just, you know, I'm sure things will change, but it's just a terrific amount of money. We're sort of being told, oh yes, there's this and that, and there isn't very much, but there are glimmers of hope, but it's not now, it's future that we'll work towards.
And I think, you know, our balance of trade deficit at the moment, we are now, it's not as bad as I understand America is. So probably by American standards, we're doing quite well, but this is what I understand. But we are 2.3 trillion now in debt. You know, and so it is, you know, and obviously what they're trying to do at the moment, there's a lot of tax issues going on where businesses are wanting tax cuts to actually help to reflate the economy, and the government saying we just can't afford to give you, you know, any benefits at all. And in fact, some of the benefits, we have a very, very expensive energy system at the moment that's costing a lot of money, and the government have been subsidizing the cost of energy to business, but that's being stopped in April, and so you know, it's reckoned that we could have out of a 17 million workforce, we could have at least 500,000 unemployed this year.
Wow,
Big number.
that's amazing.
So we need all the Americans to come back. Come back.
We don't have any money though. We're hurting too.
Nobody can afford to go anywhere.
Don't be sitting in your houses. Come back. For goodness sake. We need you.
I'm tied to this green screen. I can't go anywhere.
That's no excuse.
And the economy's tough over here. People are thinking about having their own chickens, you know, so it's a mess everywhere.
It's like an episode of Survivor.
Right, exactly.
So do you know what the balance of payments is in America? What's the national debt? It's more than, is several trillion, isn't it, if I remember rightly? Or?
I think it's even higher than that. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's high. For sure.
Wowzers.
Yeah, it's really
I'm just
bad.
trying to work out what's the next level after trillion.
You know, remember when you were little, you thought saying millions was a lot, and billions and trillions.
What do we end on?
Yeah.
Is it zillions?
Yeah.
It's time to get a backpack and go live on an island, I think.
Yeah. It's very tragic, very tragic.
Yeah.
So you can't print money is the problem.
Well, they've been trying to. You know, we've been doing quantitative easing in Britain for some time now, and the Bank of England has been really printing money more than anything. But you know, it's resulted in a 9.7 record inflation.
That's what happened to us.
Yeah. So it's caused all sorts of problems at the moment. Yeah. So, but we're still here. We're still
and there's
happy.
Hope.
There's always hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on brighter news, I bet Helena has something fun to say.
Well, do you know, I think we're going to, we touched on this last week. We touched on our lovely Princess of Wales, who is doing so much good. And we touched on it, but we also have a little video to show. But just to recap, she has got a great campaign going on at the moment. And actually, I would say what shapes us makes us, which actually is very true. And her new campaign is called Shaping Us. And basically, the idea is that happy, healthy children create a happy, healthy future, which is so, so true. And children from the ages of 1 to 5, it's the way that the brain develops, etc. It's such a pivotal, important time of life, as we know. But I think I mentioned before, we were told that from age 2 to 3 was the most informative years. Bowlby, psychologists, brought this up, many moons ago. But straight away, from the moment a child is born, and really even in the start as an embryo, everything is important, and it's so important to our future. And I think we've got a lovely little video. And I think it also explains how everyone shapes a child. It's not just the parents, who obviously have a huge, great big force there, but everyone around shapes children. And it's such an important thing that she's doing, because it's one of those things that you think about, but you don't necessarily really think about. So I think any campaign is such a positive force. And I think, when you look at certain things like addictions and mental health and various things that happen later in life, the preventative method is exactly what this is about. So if we could show it, that would be great. It's actually a little video, and it's called Layla's Story. It's very simple, but it just sort of cements the very simple ideas. It's almost like it's done in cartoony form.
Let's take a look.
We can't wait to meet you.
You've been very chatty today.
We're only getting a few hours sleep. It's been tough.
We can look after her this evening.
Would you like a song from Nana? Early in the morning, there's a whisper in the trees. Breathe a breath of me, my child. When the water dries, just cruise from the light.
Can you say Dada?
Breathe a breath of me,
Did you hear her?
my child.
Are you going to catch me?
Waking's never easy.
Come on, you can do it. I love you. Mummy will be back this afternoon. It's okay to be a wee bit scared. Let's go say hi together.
And
Honey, good to share. Come on, you can do it.
plant a flower in your
Wow. That is powerful.
It is,
Wow.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
so simple, but yeah, I think it's lovely. So she's great, and she's so fabulous with children. And I say the same thing. It takes a special person to work with children and to keep their attention and their excitement. And whenever you see the Princess of Wales going into schools, as she does regularly, or holding little discussions with children, they just absolutely love her. She's just got something very special about her. So yes, we're very happy to have her as our Princess of Wales.
Thanks for sharing that clip with us. That was beautiful.
It was so neat because it was so simple, and everybody can feel that they're part of it, and no matter what age, it just, wow, it was amazing and so true, right? So, I loved how the little kid got scared, like all of a sudden, where am I? It's in school.
Yeah. And then all that, the realization as all the color appears as well. And it's,
Yeah,
that's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really
it's so good. And for me as a mom, it brought back even memories of when the little kid in the thing jumps into the swimming pool. It was like, oh, I remember doing that. Yay, son, you did it. But the message is so true, Shape Us. I love it. It's powerful.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that all of us can relate to. It doesn't matter where you are, how old you are. It's precious.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something. Something, you know, celebrity and people using their platform to do good. And I
think she froze.
She's frozen.
She did. We'll bring her back when she's unfrozen.
She'll come back again. So just a quick one, because as you both know, but our audience probably didn't know, is that I've been in Lebanon last week in Beirut, and that was a very interesting experience as well. And I think you know, there's a lot of things going on there. I was with the award-winning filmmaker Daisy Gideon and her team to actually try and get the message of new hope, new beginnings in Lebanon at the same time. And there's quite a few British people out there trying to do the same thing as well. And at the moment, I was just saying before to Diane before I came on air, you know, a few years ago, the average wage in Lebanon was about $1,500 a month. It's now $40 a month. That's the average wage. And so I went to some of the what might have been considered more of the harder parts and tougher parts into Hezbollah territory as well. And you know, the biggest thing that I saw was that they're suffering. That they're really needing a lot more, but they greeted me, every person greeted me with a smile and kindness as well. And I think it's very important these days that, yeah, we have to think of ourselves, I get that, and we have to think of our futures. But from a level of peace and from a level of being able to help other people as well, there's so much else going on in this world right now that seems to remain unreported. People like Daisy are really trying to get the message out across the world about what is really happening within Lebanon at the same time. You know, and Beirut itself, it was a fascinating city. Part of it was, it's like a tale of two cities. It's like a Dickens novel, because a lot of it was destroyed by an explosion in the port 3 years ago. And there was a massive amount of damage, and several thousand people were killed because of this explosion as well. And yet, on the other hand, there's so much opulence as well, so much luxury in the city as well, with luxurious hotels, restaurants, and the same thing. And it really caught my imagination, and hopefully we're going back to sort of work more with them sometime in the future. And I think when we and there's so many Brits out there trying to help, so it's obviously something that's several Britons have taken to their heart, including the ambassador, the British ambassador, and so forth, on how the movement of trying to sort of change people's lives for the better. You know, there are simple things that can happen over there, but at the same time, there's so much political pressure and non-pressure as well. So I just thought it'd be, you know, perhaps just to drop that in whilst we're waiting for Helena again, that you know, these things can happen.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing about that that trip that you took with Daisy. I think we could have a whole show about that. Hi, Helena.
Hi.
Yes.
You could do a host show about that, and really, thanks, Ian, for sharing that. I think it's important for people to realize all the different hot spots going on in the world, and to think that someone's salary could go down to $40. You said a month, right? Not a week, a month.
A month. So the average, and you see, how can people live? That is exactly the problem. You know, to actually get people to work, even with diesel, it's something like they have to spend $20 a month just to get to work. A loaf of bread is something like about $5. A bottle of water, because you can't drink the water, it has to be bottled water, is something like $7 now. You know, I think one of the most poignant things I remember was that I went to a Hezbollah enclave as part and parcel of the week. And there were 20,000 people in this village, 20,000 people in this one village, and they all had the same surname. They were all related to one another. It was the most incredible time. And we went to one house we'd been told was a safe house, that nothing would happen to me, because I was going into perhaps territory that sometimes might have caused issues. And they had been baking for 3 days to actually produce this wonderful meal for us. And about 30 of the family turned up as well. And they were so interested in Britain. They were so interested in, you know, what is going on. And really, I think journeys like mine, I hope, gave them hope that people actually do care.
Wow. Sounds like an experience.
What an experience.
Talking of Beirut and everything, Keanu Reeves, the lovely Keanu Reeves, he's actually from Beirut, which actually leads on, I think, although grew up in Canada. But talking of random acts of kindness and how celebrities can use their platform for good, which is just so important. I mean, we do talk sometimes about Tom Cruise, and, you know, sort of been adopted as the darling of the UK, you know, for the UK. But I think for me, Keanu Reeves, such a lovely guy in every way. He recently, why I'm bringing him up as well, is that he recently, he's known to surprise people in the UK when he's filming, or when he's over here. He'll just pop into just a little, I don't know, cafe or whatever it might be. But this time he popped into the Robin Hood, which is a little pub in Tring in Hertfordshire. It's a lovely little English town, really quite beautiful. And he just rocked in, you know, and obviously the people there, the staff and everyone were like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And he sat down and he ordered fish and chips. We were very known for our fish and chips. In fact, I think he ordered a second dish as well, because he just wanted to try it. But he just gave so much. People were so excited to see him, and he was lovely and polite. He, you know, spoke to everybody and thanked the staff, and people just couldn't believe it. He's known always to give so much money to, I think, to children's hospitals, and to actually, in fact, to so many people. In fact, I think, isn't it him that he actually gave a lot of his fee on a film? He decided to give to the other people that were part of the film, gave them the most amazing money, and he took a great big cut. He just is. I think the thing about him is he's a great guy. He doesn't go out of his way to get attention, and he just doesn't take himself too seriously. So his whole ethos is about giving. So he was worth a shout out. Absolutely, lovely guy.
He's pretty cute too. Let's not forget that, Helena.
He is very. I have to say, he is very cute, isn't he? He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Drooling.
Calm down, ladies. Calm down.
My heart beats still. No, he's known for having a huge heart. And yeah, the film you're talking about, if I read it correctly as well, he took a huge cut and gave set designers, you know, the prop people, everyone, because they were still hurting from the economic times. And he made sure that they had money to pay some of their bills. Well, incredible person.
Gotta love that.
And talking about Lebanese very quickly again, sorry, because I don't want to harp on too much, but this, from what we were understanding, about 700,000 Lebanese are actually in America now, and they are a large proportion of them are all very, very successful business people. I met Roland, who is a restaurant owner and philanthropist from Philadelphia, who's going back to Lebanon at the moment to actually support financially Lebanese and their causes at the same time. So I can understand with Keanu Reeves, it's part of their DNA to be very nice, very good-hearted people as well.
Do you know the name of that restaurant?
In Philadelphia, no, I'm sorry, I don't have all the details. In fact, you know, we were talking all week, but we were talking about how to try and find ways of supporting Lebanon. So I did, you know, I know he has a restaurant, but he's more in real estate in Philadelphia as well. So
I'm a Philly girl, you know. I'm from Philadelphia.
Well, he may be coming to Florida as well, because he found out I was coming to Florida next month. So I think he's going to pop over because he's got his own production company. So I think he's popping over to Florida as well. So who knows? There might be a meetup.
Sounds fantastic. We'll have to film it. You know what? I'm just looking at the clock. Our show it's over already. Where did the time go?
Oh, I don't know. It's always so much fun and so much to learn and share.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, I'm sorry about that. We're going to have to close out. Our next show is coming up. So as we always do, we'll just go around and give some words of affirmation, hope, inspiration to our audience. And we'll start with DIANN.
Oh my gosh. Actually, what I'm hoping is everyone that's listening could stay tuned, and maybe Ian, you can find out after you learn more ways that any of us around the world can help those in need.
All right. Yep. Thank you, DIANN. That was lovely. All right. How about over to you, Helena?
I would say that just really, you know, just to be aware, we have to be so thankful, don't we? Just be aware of what's going on in the world. You know, Turkey, Syria, earthquakes, you know, you name it. There's lots of countries in need. There's lots of people that need help. It's just being mindful. And I think making meaningful choices every day and basically finding gratitude in everyday life is so, so important.
Excellent. Thank you. And over to you, Ian.
And just a last thought. This week, I started talking, and Helena's going to be talking as well, to a chef. He's a very famous chef called Jameson. And it was something, all the time I was watching this show, I was racking my brains because I knew I had something to tell DIANN. And it's just come back to me, thank goodness, in time, is that he's going to write a menu book, a recipe book, for children so they can cook food as well, almost to a cordon bleu standard. So I just thought that was a great idea. And sorry, I've just remembered, so you know, my memory. But I think the reality this week is, you know, you come back from places like Lebanon and you come back to London where there is an abundance as well. And in reality, never forget, there's a lot of people less fortunate than yourself, you know, and how we can actually help them through shows like this is very important.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And also, DIANN and I have a new show coming out that's called, and Ian, you probably recognize the name, Once Upon a Time. So we'd love to have that chef come on this show, since Ian actually thought of the name. So that would be fantastic. And I'll just share that we can't control other people's behavior, but we can control how we show up. So I found this lately. I've had to take Philip Sykes' 6-second rule, maybe to a 20 seconds before you respond to someone else, because we don't know what someone else is going through. And many times people don't tell us what they're going through, and they react in a certain way. And then we take it on like, oh, they're this and they're that, but we don't know what they are at all. So let's just give each other grace. That's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
All right. Our next show is coming up, and the title is I'm Spiritual, and it's with Ann Scotland and Dr. Roger Leslie. I'll be behind the scenes producing. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thank you to our esteemed panel, and hello to Simon Macdonald. We're sorry that you're not with us today, but we can see you jogging around in the kilt, and that makes us so. On that note and that visual, we will be saying goodbye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.